Hello, my name is Jim Downs, and I'm a field specialist in forestry for Ohio State University Extension. Today, I am at Rising Park, which is a city park in Lancaster, Ohio, which is located in Fairfield County, Ohio, to introduce Austrian pine, also referred to as European black pine. One of the unique features of this park, in addition to all the wonderful diversity of trees that they have here, and actually they have some really large specimens of trees here on this park, is the sandstone rock outcropping or cliff wall that they have on the south side of the park. To talk about Austrian pine, this is a tree that is native to Europe and Asia. Actually, most of the Austrian pine, unsurprisingly, that we have here in the United States actually came from the genetic line that is located in Austria, the country. The identifying features of Austrian pine are that you have 2 needles per bundle or 2 needles per fascicle. Those needles themselves tend to be very straight and fairly thick. One of the unique features of these needles on Austrian pine is that you have the ability to bend them. Especially you can come close to tying them into a complete knot before they end up breaking, which is a key distinguishing feature between this and red pine, which will have needles that'll look very, very similar to Austrian pine. But if you were to take those needles and try to bend them and tie them into a knot, they would break well before you ever got to the point that you can see here in the video. As far as the cones that are produced by Austrian pine, they are armed, so they do have a thorn-like prickle on the umbo or the scale of the pine cone. They will be somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5 inches in length and somewhat ovoid in shape. The bark on Austrian pine tends to be very deeply furrowed, especially with age, and can get really blocky, but you still will have this unique scaly texture to those ridges on the tree. One of the things that tends to happen with Austrian pine as it reaches its max height, it will transition from having a canopy that is rather pointed in shape to having a canopy that has a very flat top. And you can kind of see that a little bit on this tree, that the top of the tree looks very much flattened. This is a tree that for the most part is ornamentally planted all around the northern part of the United States and the Great Lake region. One of the primary reasons for planting this tree is in windrows or in windbreaks. One of the unique features to this tree is that it does have the ability to withstand high amounts of road salt, so it can be beneficial to place these in areas near roads, especially where you would need a windbreak. However, this tree in particular is subject to some different fungal pathogens, importantly diplodia, which is a tip blight disease. This tree does have the ability to grow on a wide variety of sites and soil types, even though it prefers moist, well-drained soils, which actually most trees do. It does have the ability to handle sandy soils, as well as do fairly well on some heavy clay soils, which is one of the reasons why it's such an adaptable tree. As far as the wood of Austrian pine, it's actually going to be very similar to that of Scotch pine or red pine in that it is a straight type of pine that is relatively hard, although Austrian pine tends to be a little bit weaker and a little bit of a rougher wood compared to both Scotch pine and red pine. Here in the United States, there's not much of a timber market for Austrian pine, just because we tend not to grow a lot of this in forested areas. And with that, thank you for watching and have a great day.